You ever have one of those moments where the NFL season flips upside down overnight? Because that's exactly what just happened for the Los Angeles Chargers, and trust me, you're gonna love this. The Chargers walk into the bye week frustrated, annoyed, still tasting that loss to Jacksonville, and boom, two big waves of good news crash in at the same time. First off, Thursday Night Football delivered a gift. Houston shocks Buffalo, pulls off the upset, and suddenly, just like that, the Chargers jump into the 5 seed. A top wildcard spot. Isn't that crazy? You drop a painful game, yet somehow move up the ladder. That's the NFL for you. Wild, chaotic, unfair, and absolutely perfect. Now look, there's a long season ahead. A lot can change. But all we can judge is what's in front of us, and right now, the Chargers are in playoff position. And when you're chasing January football, it's not about perfection, it's about positioning. That's the first dose of good news. Before I hit the second one, quick moment, if you're enjoying the breakdown, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and smash that bell icon so you never miss a Chargers update. It helps more than you know and keeps this community rolling. Now, on to the second page of this surprising story. There's another shift happening, and this one could mess with the entire AFC picture. Kansas City, yes, those Chiefs, are sitting at 5-5 and staring down a brutal stretch. Colts fresh off a bye. Then the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That's pressure stacked on pressure. And here's the twist, Indianapolis just added Sauce Gardner. Say what you want about the cost, today, right now, that move makes them better. A tougher defense. A tougher matchup. A tougher road for the Chiefs, which is indirectly great news for the Chargers. 2 weeks ago the AFC felt locked in. Stable. Predictable. Now? Not anymore. And we're just getting started. Stay with me, the Chiefs are walking straight into a storm. They're facing an Indianapolis team that just rested, regrouped, and upgraded their secondary with a defender who can actually give Rashee Rice real problems. And you know how the NFL works, one matchup flips momentum, one loss flips a season. If Indy pulls this off, Kansas City could suddenly be staring at a very real danger, slipping right out of the playoff lane. So here's where things get interesting for the Chargers. Good news number 1 was climbing in the playoff standings. Good news number 2. The Chiefs have to run through a schedule that feels like a gauntlet, Colts, Cowboys, and then the Chargers themselves. That head-to-head opportunity isn't just a game. It's leverage. Beat them, and you create separation. Lose, and they climb right back onto your neck. The Cowboys might have defensive issues, but Dak is playing at an unreal level this season. That's not a casual opponent. That's not a free win. Nothing about Kansas City's upcoming stretch is soft. But here's the part nobody mentions, the Chargers' schedule is tough, yet so is everyone else's in the wildcard traffic jam. Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs, and a handful of teams all fighting over the same 3 playoff spots. It's a crowded hallway with only a few open doors. This is the time of year when schedules finally start telling the truth. Not predictions. Not preseason hype. Actual, real-world pressure. And we're about to find out who holds up and who collapses. Stay with me, when you zoom out and really look at the landscape, you start to see the shape of how this could play out for the Chargers. Nothing is guaranteed, but the path is clearer now than it was even a week ago. Some stretches will be rough, we all felt that Jacksonville prediction coming, but there's still a realistic runway for this team to control its fate. One comment from a fan nailed it perfectly, at home, the Chargers look dangerous, but the moment they fly east? It's like stepping into a different universe. You go from dominant to overwhelmed, and suddenly everything feels harder than it should be. That's the NFL reality for a West Coast team traveling deep into the opposite time zone. But here's the part people forget, that disadvantage works both directions. Every time Los Angeles travels east, yes, they're climbing uphill. But every time an Eastern team flies into LA, they're the ones fighting the jet lag, the body clock, the rhythm shift. And that's where the Chargers quietly hold real power. That's why home games cannot be treated like just another Sunday. They're opportunities. They're leverage. They're the one place where the Chargers can tilt the field in their favor just by showing up ready to play. The league isn't big on true home field advantage anymore, not like college, where stadiums shake and swallow opponents whole, but for the Chargers, it still matters. It still shifts outcomes. And it's something they absolutely must lean into if they want to control the second half of this season. Big opportunities ahead. Big risks too. And the story is far from over. Stay with me. When you lay out the Chargers' remaining schedule, it almost feels like the season is daring them to rise or collapse. No middle ground, no breathing room. And that's exactly why every single week from here on out matters. The Raiders matchup is the first pressure point. Vegas has to deal with Cleveland this week, and the Browns don't win pretty, they just drag teams into ugly, bruising, low-scoring battles. Perfect for the Chargers, because the more beat up the Raiders are when they arrive in LA, the better. That game isn't just important, it's foundational. Win it, and suddenly you're sitting at 8-4 with momentum punching through the door. And then comes the moment everyone will be watching, a Monday night showdown with Philadelphia. The defending champs. Prime time. At home. The kind of stage where you feel the weight in the air hours before kickoff. You can lose any game in the NFL, but dropping a matchup like that, in your own stadium, with the country watching, would feel almost impossible if the Chargers show up focused. But none of that drama means anything unless they take care of business this week. After Philly comes the true test of who this team wants to be: Kansas City, Houston, Denver. That 3-game stretch is basically a playoff filter. Win those, and your postseason spot is no longer a discussion, it's a fact. Lose them, and the door slams shut just as fast. And what's going on with Houston anyway? 1 minute they're stumbling, the next they're spoiling entire seasons. Hard to love it, hard to hate it, it just is what it is. Funny thing, the whole climb really started back in late July against Detroit. Wild to think how far the Chargers have come since then. Quick question, one every NFL fan secretly wrestles with: if you had to pick one team outside your own, whose logo do you genuinely love? I've got my answer. You might not like it, but you'll definitely have one too. Stay with me. There's something about NFL logos that just hits differently depending on the team, the history, and the attitude behind it. And I'll be honest, the Dolphins have always had one of those designs that just works. Clean, unique, instantly recognizable. It fits the city, the colors, the vibe, everything. And alright, here comes the part that might sting a little. There's another logo I've always thought was flat out cool, even if saying it feels like crossing enemy lines. Yeah, it's the Raiders. Not the team, not the rivalry, just the visual. That silver and black shield is iconic whether we like it or not. Doesn't mean I root for them. Doesn't mean they get any special treatment. It's just a logo that carries weight. Of course, the Chargers have one of the sharpest identities in the league themselves. That lightning bolt, the uniforms, the variations, it's one of the reasons this whole channel even exists. There's something electric about the branding, and with the Harbaugh reset taking shape, the whole franchise feels like it's getting a fresh coat of energy from top to bottom. Speaking of fresh, the new studio setup is almost ready. Yes, it's taken forever. Yes, I keep talking about it. But it's real, it's happening, and it's going to bring an entirely new feel to these breakdowns. Maybe even time to break out a new jersey to go with it. Big picture? The Chargers are still right in the playoff race. And once you're in, anything can happen, especially if Kansas City stumbles and you end up facing a team you already know inside and out. Those matchups get weird, unpredictable, chaotic, the kind of games where one bounce changes everything. Drop your thoughts below, I want to hear them all. And as always, stay with me.